Okay, Wildcats. Today we're looking at journal page 57, solve rational equations. Okay. Solving rational equation steps. Step 1, multiply each term by the common denominator. Step 2, divide out common factors. Step 3, simplify. Step 4, solve the equation. Okay. Now, if it's quadratic, step 5 will be set ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Step 6 will be factor or use the quadratic formula. Step 7 will be set each factor equal to 0 and solve. And step 8 will be check for extraneous solutions. If it's linear, step 5 will be set the variables to one side and the number on the other side. Step 6, check for extraneous solutions. Okay, let's take a look at example 1. Okay. All right, solve the rational equation by making a table of values, selecting the correct graph, and graphing the x-intercept. Now, before we can graph this, we need to add 1 to both sides. Okay, so then we have x divided by x plus 2 plus 1 equal to 0. Okay, so what we're going to graph is we're going to graph y equals x divided by x plus 2 plus 1. Okay, so what you want to do is type in Desmos graph and table in the Google search bar and then click function table Desmos. Okay, I'm going to exit this. Now, you're going to have to delete the table values. Okay, you're going to have to delete the function. Okay, and you're going to type divide. That's the division symbol. And then we're going to type in x divided by x plus 2 and then plus 1. Okay. Now, in the table, we want negative 6. We want negative 4. We want negative 3. We want negative 1.5. And we want negative 1 and 0. So let me fill those into my table real quick. All right. So there's our points. So that means we have negative 6, comma 2.5, negative 4, comma 3, negative 3, comma 4, negative 1.5, comma negative 2, negative 1, comma 0, and 0, comma 1. Okay. Now we graphed it in Desmos. Now to find the x-intercept, it's when the y value is 0. Okay, so let's look at the table. Find the y value 0 here. So our x-intercept is negative 1, 0. So this point right here is the x-intercept. Now for reference, it's not asking for it, but when the x value is 0, that's the y-intercept. Okay, so our x-intercept is negative 1, 0. So the solution is x equals negative 1. All right, go ahead and finish up example 1. All right, example 2. Solve the rational equation by selecting the correct graph and using a table of values. Round all values to the nearest tenths place. Okay, so first off, we need to subtract 3 from both sides. So then we have x divided by 2x minus 10 minus 3 equal to 0. Okay, so we're going to graph y equals x divided by 2x minus 10 minus 3. Okay, so let's do that now. Okay, so I'm going to go to Desmos And we want to delete these table values. And then we can change this to x divided by 2x minus 10 minus 3. Now we need 0, 3, 4, 5.5, 7, and 12. Okay. All right. So let me fill that table in. So 0, negative 3, negative 3.75. 4 is negative 5. 5.5 is 2.5. 7 is negative 1.25. And 12 is, let's just go to 2 decimal places, negative 2.14. All right, so let's fill that in. So the point is 0, negative 3. 3, negative 3.75. 4, negative 5. 5.5 is 2.5. 7 is negative 1.25. And 12 is negative 2.14. Now, it wants the x-intercept, but the problem is in the table we only have the y-intercept. Okay, so what we need to do is go back to the graph to find the x-intercept. Okay, so the x-intercept when it crosses the x-axis, so right here. Okay, so our x-intercept is 6, 0. So that means our solution is x equals 6. All right, go ahead and finish up example 2. All right, example 3. Going to solve the rational equation algebraically. Okay. So first off, you need to find the common denominator. Okay. So we need to think about what can you do to get the common denominator. Okay. Well, you need to think about a number that 4, 6, and 12 can divide into. Well, we know that, and let me come over here, 12 divided by 6 equals 2. We know that 12 divided by 12 equals 1. And we know that 12 divided by 4 is 3. So our common denominator is 12 because all of these numbers can divide into 12. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to multiply everything by 12x. Okay, so 12 times 9, and we can just use a basic calculator if I can find my basic calculator. You know what? That's okay. We can go to Desmos.com. Let me just use Desmos. All right, math tools, scientific calculator. So 12 times 9 is 108. Okay, so this is 108x divided by 4x minus 12 times 5 is 60. X divided by 6 equals, and then 12 times negative 13 times negative 13 is negative 156. So negative 156x divided by 12x. Okay, now first off, x divided by x is 1. X divided by x is 1. So now we just need to do 108 divided by 4. Is 27. So that's 27 minus, well, 60 divided by 6, that's easy. 10x equals, and then negative 156 divided by 12. is negative 13. Okay, now you'll notice by multiplying by the common denominator, the fraction goes away, and then we just solve for x. So we're going to subtract 27 from both sides. Okay, well, that cancels. You're left with negative 10x equals negative 40. And then you divide both sides by negative 10. That divides and becomes 1. X equals 4. Okay, so the solution is x equals 4. Okay, let's take a look at example 4. Okay, solve the rational equation algebraically. Okay, now we need to multiply everything by the common denominator. Okay, and another way to find the common denominator is just multiply the denominators together. Okay, so technically that's 1. So we need to multiply everything by 5 times 1 times x plus 1. Okay, well, let's be honest, 5 times 1 is just 5. So we're basically multiplying everything by 5 times x plus 1. Okay, so let's do that. So that's 2 times 5 times x plus 1 divided by x plus 1 plus 2 times 5 times x plus 1 divided by 5 equals 2 times 5 times x plus 1 divided by 1. Okay, well, this divides by itself, that divides and becomes 1. 5 divided by 5 divides and becomes 1. And then anything divided by 1 is just itself. So we're left with 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 2 times x plus 1 is 2x plus 2 equals 2 times 5 is 10 times x plus 1. All right, well, 10 and 2 combines to be 12, so that's 2x plus 12 equals now 10 times x plus 1 is 10x plus 10. Uh-oh, there's a virus threat protection. And we're going to move that to the Action Center and not worry about viruses because we got some Algebra 2 to do. Okay, so now whenever solving, you want to subtract the smaller x from the bigger x. We're going to subtract 2x from both sides. So then you get, that cancels, you get 12 equals 8x plus 10. Now you want to subtract the 10 from both sides. Okay, so then that's 2 equals 8 divided by x. We're going to divide both sides by 8. So 2 divided by 8 equals x. And we can rewrite this as x equals 2 divided by 8. And then 2/8 reduces to be 1/4. And the reason for that is we know that 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 2 is 8. So that's technically 1, so you're left with 1/4. So x equals 1 divided by 4. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next example. All right, example 5. Solve the rational equation algebraic. Okay, now, first off, we need to factor this denominator so we can find out what the common denominator is. So that's 70 divided by 2 parentheses. We know x and x makes x squared. Now, we need to ask ourselves, what do you multiply to give you negative 21 combined to be negative 4? Since the middle number is negative, the bigger number is negative. So 1 times negative 21 is negative 21. 1 minus 21 is negative 20. That doesn't work. Okay, so 2 doesn't multiply. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. So since we have our negative 21, negative 4, our factors are x plus 3 and x minus 7. And then that's minus 6 divided by x plus 3 equals 7 times x minus 7. Okay? All right. So what we need to do is we need to multiply everything by the common denominator. Well, the only thing in the denominator is x plus 3 and x minus 7. So we need to multiply everything times x plus 3x minus 7. Okay? So 70 times that is 70. And I have a feeling that this is going to be a long set of works. We're going to start at the very end of the thing. So that's 70 times x plus 3 times x minus 7 divided by x plus 3x minus 7 minus 6 times x plus 3x minus 7 divided by x plus 3 equals 7 times x plus 3 x minus 7 divided by x minus 7. Notice I'm putting the x minus 7 underneath the x minus 7. Now we notice that this divides and becomes 1, this divides and becomes 1, this divides and becomes 1, and this divides and becomes 1. Okay, so then we're left with 70 minus 6 times x minus 7 equals 7 times x plus 3. Okay, so then that's 70 minus 6 times x is negative 6x. Negative 6 times negative 7. Let me just use Desmos just to make sure I don't make a mistake. Negative 6 times negative 7 is a positive 42. Okay, so that's plus 42 equals 7 times x is 7x plus 7 times 3 is 21. Okay. Now let's go ahead and combine the 70 and the 42. So 70 plus 42 is 112. So then that's negative 6x plus 112 equals 7x plus 21. Let's go ahead and add 6x to both sides. So then that cancels. You're left with 112 equals 13x plus 21. Okay. Now we're going to subtract 21 from both sides. So 112 minus 21 is 91. So 91 equals 13x. Divide both sides by 13. So then 91 divided by 13 is 7. So 7 equals x. Okay, so the solution is x equals 7. Now, I wrote here that's extraneous, so that means we probably need to check and see why it says extraneous, okay? So what we're going to do is plug 7 back into the left side and the right side. Now, if they equal, it's a solution, but if they don't, it's extraneous and it's no solution, okay? So let's do that now. So in Desmos, I'm going to type the division symbol first. 70 divided by 7 squared minus 4 times 7 minus 21. Says it's undefined. And then, oh wait, almost forgot, minus 6. Oh, I need to press the division symbol. 6 divided by 7 plus 3. And then division 7 divided by 7 minus 7. Now, they're technically both undefined, but because they're both undefined, that means 7 is an extraneous solution. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at, that was it. All right, so if you would, go ahead and finish up your notes and examples and have a wonderful Wildcat day.